stressed to Congress his plans to curtail illegal immigration, saying he wants to restructure our immigration plan to be like Australia's. Let's bring in Elliot Felig. He's an immigration attorney. And Elliot, thanks for being here. This idea of a merit-based immigration system, I want to get your reaction. We'll let the president speak for himself about what it means, and then you get your reaction. Okay. Watch.
The current outdated system depresses wages for our poorest workers and puts great pressure on taxpayers. Nations around the world, like Canada, Australia, and many others, have a merit-based immigration system. It's a basic principle that those seeking to enter a country ought to be able to support themselves financially. Yet in America, we do not enforce this rule, straining the very public resources that our poorest citizens rely upon. Switching away from this current system of lower-skilled immigration and instead adopting a merit-based system, we will have so many more benefits. It will save countless dollars, raise workers' wages, and help struggling families, including immigrant families, enter the middle class.
Elliot, given our system in the United States, would a merit-based immigration system work?
It would be a significant departure, I can tell you that. In Australia, about 60% of the immigration-based visas are allocated based on this point system. You get more points based on degree of education. So if you have a PhD, you get more points than if you don't have a college degree. They allocate based on what profession you work in, how much work experience, your proficiency in the English language. That's a significant difference in the U.S. In the U.S., we give about 70% of our immigration-based visas based on family relationships, spouses, parents, children. So it'd be a significant departure.
Well, it's based on the idea that you want immigrants to contribute to the economy and to the society. And overall, that doesn't sound too controversial.
Right. I mean, there's no question. That's exactly as you say. The purpose is to identify people and give priority to people who are going to make a positive economic impact as quickly as possible. It hasn't gotten the type of angry, heated, visceral response that President Trump's other ideas in the immigration area have. So it may well be that it's less controversial. I could see a court challenge because of the allocation based on English language ability. Some would argue that that's related to nationality.
English in this country.
Absolutely.
Do we have the infrastructure, though, even maybe the administrative infrastructure, to go through and try to identify the 11 to 12 million undocumented immigrants who are already here, to try to rate them in some fashion as far as what they can contribute?
Sure. I mean, dealing with the people who are already here is a far, far more tricky question. And it was interesting yesterday. President Trump floated the idea of some kind of compromise. The only compromise, as you know, that's viable is one that includes a path to citizenship. And think about this. A year ago this week, President Trump, then candidate Trump, was out on the campaign trail relentlessly bashing Marco Rubio because Rubio was part of that gang of 8 that supported comprehensive immigration reform, which included a path to citizenship. So if the president is really softening on that, it would be a massive departure from candidate Trump to President Trump. I mean, candidate Trump's only solution was a deportation force to deal with the 11 million who are already here.
Elliot, separately and related, we're waiting to hear about the executive order on the travel suspension. Reports or speculation that it was supposed to be out today, but it didn't come out today. What are your thoughts on that?
Right. They keep pushing it back. We were told last week. Now we're told this week. Now we're being told possibly next week. I think there are two drivers of this. Part of it is that while it's not that hard to redraft an order, there's some question about whether the policy is actually evolving. There was a report today that Iraq is going to be taken off the list of the 7 countries, that it might be 6 countries. But the bigger driver of the delay, I think, is politics. The administration really wants this to have its own news day for the rollout. They think it's politically a winning issue, and they don't want it over. Today, it would have been overshadowed, perhaps, by the reaction to the speech.
To the point you were making about politics, perhaps a reversal from President Trump's rhetoric during the campaign, if he were to go that Marco Rubio approach and say, all right, let's have some unity, let's see where we can agree. Is there the political will, do you think, in Washington to get this done?
I mean, I think the best analogy, David, is to only Nixon could go to China. Only he had the anti-communist credibility to get past the hardliners and take what was then a pretty revolutionary step to open up relations with a communist country. Maybe, I mean, he does fancy himself the greatest deal maker in the world. Maybe President Trump has the perception of being enough of a hardliner on immigration that he can get it done.
That's a great point. Elliot Felig is an immigration attorney. Elliot, thanks for coming in. We appreciate it. Good to have you here.